Let's now go across to Johannesburg to Sunil Gavaskar, who witnessed that match in the stadium. Sunny bhai, we'll start with the ending, the very exciting ending that we saw for this test match. Were you surprised South Africa didn't go for the target?
Surprise is probably a mild word. I was baffled, I was puzzled why they didn't go for it, because they had 3 wickets in hand, and out of that I would have thought that maybe if you went for it with 3 overs left, but they didn't make any effort whatsoever. They left deliveries alone for the third last over and the penultimate over. Didn't make any sense, to be honest.
Right. Just to play the devil's advocate, would you say one of the main reasons why South Africa didn't chase that total was also because it is a 2 test match series, 1 loss and you can't win the series then, and hence, both teams would have been very, very careful not to make that mistake?
No, listen, I think 2 test series is now pretty much the norm. India is going to play 2 test matches in New Zealand as well. India played 2 test matches against the West Indies. I don't think we should, harp on this 2 test business, because that's the way modern tours are. Because we know that for test matches, there's not much of a crowd that comes in, while the 50 overs and the T20 is where the crowds come in. So I think that is where the boards are concentrating. So I don't think we should just, go on too much about this 2 test business. But I don't think that had anything to do with it, because for the simple reason, when you sense victory, when you see a victory opportunity, you've got to go for it.
All right. So is that why South Africa have never won a World Cup?
In fact, that is what was being said around the commentary boxes, that this is the reason why we are not having that extra to win the World Cup. So this is being said by some of the South Africans around the commentary box. After you finish your commentary, you come out and sit in there's a little lounge where there are commentators, former players, journalists, media persons who come along, and that was the general discussion.
Right. The match may have ended in a draw, but come to think of it, it was one of the most exciting games one can see. I heard you say, lack of spectators in the stadium is a major problem. In a situation like this, would you say this was a perfect advert for the longer format of the game? It's a fabulous advertisement for Test cricket, because look, the fortunes fluctuated this way and that throughout the 5 days. No team could say during all the 5 days that they were right on top. Perhaps India today, when they began, they could have said that they sensed a chance to win because they had set South Africa 458 to win. But apart from that, on all 5 days of the game, the fortune just swung wildly this way and that. And that's why I think Test cricket is it's the pinnacle. That is the test of your skills, it's the test of your temperament, and that's why it's the highest form of cricket. Right, I understand some Indian fans will be disappointed with the results, especially after how India were placed at the end of day 4. But if one looks at the bigger picture, would you say it was a moral victory for India? Remember, they had lost their last 8 overseas test matches, and we've got that on our screen as well.
Well, more than that, I think the way they pulled it back at one stage at tea time, it looked as if they were going to lose the match with de Villiers and du Plessis together at the crease. It looked as if India was going to lose. So you've got to give them credit for having pulled it back, taking the wicket of de Villiers, and then that magnificent fielding effort from Ajinkya Rahane to run out du Plessis. So yes, I think India needs to be complimented on getting themselves out of a tight situation. Their bowlers also, yes. This wicket turned out to be very easy to bat on day 4 and day 5. So there was not much in it for the bowlers, but the bowlers gave it everything. Full marks to the bowlers for the way they gave it everything. I think they need a couple of days rest. If you're going to go in with the same attack, then they should be only coming into to nets or to practice on Christmas Day on the 25th. But they need the next 2 days of this bowling attack, because they've given it everything.
Right, I'm sure they'll get those 2 days off. Now, here's another stat. This was only the 8th occasion when no Indian spinner could manage a single wicket in a test match. Even part-time spinner in Jumini picked up a couple of wickets. Keeping that in mind, would MSD be a little disappointed with Ashwin, who's usually always amongst the wickets?
Well, if you have a look at his figures, he's conceded less than 3 runs an over. So I think he did the holding up job that Dhoni expected of him, because there really was nothing in it. There was no purchase for him from this surface. So he wasn't able to do much over here. But certainly, yes, I think the fact that he will not get wickets like in India,
what he's got to look to be doing is to be probably be the holding up job that he did in this game. So, but maybe they will look at having an extra bowler, because three bowlers and a spinner is something which is not going to be easy in the heat. Maybe it's all right in the cooler climes of England and New Zealand, but you want an extra bowler there. Unfortunately, India doesn't have an all-rounder like Jacques Kallis who can come in and roll his arm over, or a JP Dumini who can also come in and bowl a few overs. So if they had somebody like that, then India could go in with 4 frontline bowlers and maybe 1 of the part-timers.
Right, let's talk about the 2 batsmen now who performed really well. AB de Villiers, I was looking at his test record this year. It is phenomenal. So if one takes all 3 formats into consideration, will it be fair to say that AB is probably the best batsman in the world currently?
Yes, I think he's probably the best. I think along with Virat Kohli, don't forget Virat's been also consistent in one-day cricket. He scored 5 or 6 hundreds this year. Plus, I think the way he's batted in the 2020 format. So yes, I think these 2 players are really top of the heap as far as batting is concerned.
A word on Faf du Plessis as well. Brilliant knock. What stood out in his knock was, that he got hit really badly on his hand, yet continued to bat on, showing a lot of resilience.
And I think that is where South Africa's advantage lies, that they can, because of AB de Villiers keeping wickets, they can actually play with an extra batsman. They have a batting lineup up to number 7, 2 of whom Kallis and Dumini can bowl. Graham Smith can also bowl. Graham Smith also has got a few test wickets to his belt. But I think this is where South Africa's strength has been, is that they have got a long batting lineup, and that's why they were able to chase 450.
Right, and finally, Zaheer Khan became the 4th Indian to get 300 test wickets. But irrespective of his record, does he go down in history for you as one of the best India has ever produced?
Yes, one of the craftiest, there's no question in my mind. He's one of the canniest and craftiest of bowlers. He's made very good use he knows what his limitations are, and he's made very good use of the talent at his disposal. Yes, he's not always been 100% as far as fitness is concerned, but this match I think has shown that all the hard work that he put in the off-season has worked, because he bowled long spells, he bowled good spells, he was looking like getting a wicket just about every over. So full marks to him for the way he's come back, and congratulations to him for joining those who have taken 300 test wickets.